everybody. Welcome back to Rock On Studio Live. My name is Elwood, your host. And yes, I got a haircut. Finally! It was 5 months. I think it took over an hour and a half. But God, it feels good. It's just a refreshing moment. It's the little things in life that make us happy, right? If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please bang that link. It's real simple. Click the subscribe button. Check out past interviews from everyone else who's already been on the show, plus set reminders for new ones. And just a heads up, tomorrow we'll be live at 4 p.m. with Crowbot. Not only are we going to do a live Q&A with the guys, but they're also going to perform a couple songs acoustically as well, so you get a live performance too. Rock On Studio Live, one of the only shows out there that puts you one-on-one with all of your favorite artists, bands, and more, and let you interact with them. So if you got a question, if you got something to say, please drop it into the comments section, either side that it's on. We'll get it on the screen, and we'll try to get to as many as possible. Rock On Studio Live on YouTube, Twitch, and more. Click the subscribe button, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Well, sometimes you might be, but we can't all get it perfect, right? I'm very excited about my guest on the show today. He is one of the members of the band that has really taken advantage of this quarantine, from covers that have blown up to a parody song with a music video that brought the whole escalation of 2020 to a whole new level. Plus, they returned with a brand new single that literally blew up and is on its way to being probably their biggest one, with a new album and more on the way. Welcoming live to Rock On Studio, I give you Matt with From Ashes to New. What's up, buddy?
What's up, homie? How you been?
I'm good, man. I always do the clap because I wish I had actual sound effects.
Like a live studio audience.
Yeah, I got dogs.
You got Chris Hale in the back looking like he's going to kick my ass.
There's some good ones behind me. It's great to see you, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling like I need a gym. That's what I'm feeling like. You know, like you got the fresh haircut. I need like a Planet Fitness or something to open so I can just get on a treadmill and feel good about myself for like 10 minutes.
No, I didn't go to the gym before. I'm not going to go after. I got that feeling already.
No, never. Hey, I'm not wearing pants right now, so it's all good.
Well, neither am I, so this is kind of awkward.
We don't need to be. We don't have to be.
Hey, I got a haircut. That's all that matters, all right?
It's good, though. I don't know. You know, I'm not sure that I've ever seen you without a hat on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No. Every time you see me, I've been in a hat. So this is a whole new thing.
Yeah.
I'm breaking out of my shell.
Yeah. First glance, I'm like, who's this guy? Wait a second. I don't know. I don't reckon. Oh.
Here come the internet trolls. Nice hairline, asshole. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. We're trying to have some fun. First off, congratulations on Panic, dude. That song came out and just blew up. It blew up. And I know thanks to Octane, they were actually pushing that first before anybody else, because that's what everyone likes to do. Give it to Octane before it hits rock radio. But now officially impacting at rock radio stations all across the country.
Yep.
And I'll tell you this. So at my radio station, we do a feature, and it's called Pull It or Play It, where we feature a track, and then we let the fans vote on it. Should we add it into rotation, or should we junk it, you know? And we do get a really good response. But when we played your song, the response was way above normal for it. You guys got to keep playing that thing. So what is it about Panic do you think that people were drawn to so much?
You know, it's wild because the song was written long before any of this stuff started happening, you know, with the pandemic and, you know, everything that's been happening in the country and the world. So the song was written before that. And it was really written about general anxiety. Like, I deal with general anxiety, not so much recently, which is weird. I've been staying off Facebook a lot.
Smart man.
Yeah, right. Not so much recently as in the past, but it was something that I had dealt with, and it just so happened to fit so perfectly with the times. And I think that, you know, at least for me, having an outside opinion looking at other people, I think that a lot of people are dealing with the same thing. So, and, you know, much like a lot of bands that I grew up with and listening to, and you and, you know, artists, rap artists and stuff, they were always kind of my voice for the way that I was feeling. So I've heard from a lot of fans and seen a lot of fans talking about how this song has kind of become their voice for 2020 in the way that they've been feeling.
Wow. Yeah. And I love the merch that came along with it as well. If you got a screenshot of the official From Ashes to New Panic masks, if we could get that pulled up there. There's your t-shirt, which is absolutely awesome.
Thanks,
now,
man.
Do you guys design these yourselves, or is it from my door?
There's a guy in Lancaster who has been designing merch for me since I've been in a local band. So, you know, we kind of always try and keep things in-house. Like our first couple albums we did in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, our merch we do in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I hit him up with an idea and I'll be like, dude, like do this. And then he knocks it out of the park. He's ridiculous.
It's awesome stuff. And that's so big right now. You know, a lot of people, I always talk about, you want to really help your bands out, buy some merch. They're not out there touring. Yeah. They're not working that table to do it. If there's a small way for you to give back, buy some merch, use that concert cash to do it. And we're all going to need masks for a very long time. If you people think it's going away next week, you're going to need a mask throughout the year. So you might as well stock up now and support your favorite bands at the same time, which is awesome.
Dude, those masks are our biggest selling item ever.
It's,
you know, and the funny thing is like, you know, we had a few people. There was one guy actually, and I don't comment back to a lot of people that are like bringing in negativity, but I just commented back to this guy on Instagram like 2 days ago because he was like, you know, you guys fed into this whole thing, and I'm like, you know, if you pay attention to us, like we actually came out with this mask idea before the pandemic as well. Like this was all supposed, so like Panic and the mask and everything was all something that we had created before the pandemic. And then when everyone started doing, you know, all these different bands and artists started doing masks, we're like, man, like, I don't like to pander. Like, I'm one of those people who really doesn't like to like just follow the status quo. I really like to try and do my own thing, and so do the rest of the guys. So when everyone started doing masks and everything, I'm like, well, there goes our idea. You know, our idea is shot now. Everybody else is doing it. So, but we released them because we were already planning on doing it, and it's been fantastic. But if you've come to a show and you've seen Lance, our guitarist, or you've seen like our crew, over the past several years, they've always walked around, you know, even our crew, they've walked around with those surgical masks on. Mm-hmm. I've always given them a hard time. I'm like, why are you wearing that thing? We're like,
oh, look at it. I saw a lot of reports that masks will be the new T-shirt. So when you're out supporting your bands, instead of rocking that T-shirt, then a mask will be it. And then it's going to be the foo-foo. Like, are you allowed to wear the band's mask to the band's concert, or do you have to wear a different band's mask because you're not allowed to wear the same T-shirt? So is that going to come out of the mask too? We'll see.
Well, that was our idea, is because we got glasses too. So like we had this whole plan, and this is back probably summer of 2019. We had this whole plan. It was like, okay, become the show, wear the mask, and we have a mask that has like just a zipper on the face. And it kind of symbolizes like being voiceless when you feel like, you know, your opinion is not validated, or you feel like, you know, the world is kind of trying to silence you. So that was the idea of that, was wear that mask with that zipper on it to become the show. So wear the glasses and the mask together to our show, and it just become this like movement at our show. And then this whole thing hit, and it was like, this is the craziest thing. Like, how did this happen?
Which is ironic, because that was one of the questions I had set up for you. Was the quarantine the reason for the new record? But from what you're talking, the new record was already planned. I thought all the time you guys spent was the recording and writing of the record that you're now putting out. August 28th, the release date on that?
August
Panic. 28th. Pre-orders are being taken now, by the way. Check out their website from mastertonew.com. You want to do that. Pre-orders and merch is available. And that answers the question. It was done. But my other question related to it, when was the music video shot, and whose office was that?
The irony is before I was in From Ashes to New, I was a cable guy. So everybody out there knows that if you're working blue collar and you got these dreams, chase them, first off. Second off, it was shot in a like an old call center for a cable company. So it was really weird that ended up happening. Originally, the video was supposed to be shot at a club in New York City, and we were going to get, you know, fans to come in, fill the club up. We were going to do this like real cool video shoot. And then everything happened. And it was like, uh-oh, you know, we couldn't get the club. You can't have crowds. The director's like, hey, I got this whole team of people quit. Like it wasn't, I don't think it was at the point where they couldn't be on the set working. It was at the point where they were, you know, they were scared. They didn't want to be on the set working. So they quit. And it was like, we had like, what do we have? 4 or 5 people? Like, and he's like, I don't know, I could put some calls into some places around here. I'm like, all right, get an office space. I was like, find an office space. I was like, and we'll just trash it. I was like, who doesn't go to work like in a cubicle and sits in the cubicle all day and feels this sense of panic? Like, I know, you know, just from the stuff that I did throughout my past, from my working years, I know that, you know, I wanted to break stuff at work. So I was like, let's just go to a workspace and break things. So he got a good space, ended up being a cable company. So it was actually a little bit more cathartic for me.
Yeah, that's full circle for you all
Yeah,
the way
man.
back around.
It was
man.
incredible. So, it was weird, man. It's been really weird how this has all come together. Like our album was supposed to come out earlier this year, and then it got pushed to next year because they didn't know what was going to happen with this year. And then Panic blew up, and now it's happening again in August. So it's just a really weird year.
I feel like we know that a lot in the music industry, though. Sometimes the best success comes from stuff that's not even planned. Like bands will release one track and be like, "This isn't the single. This is just a fan track," and everyone's like, "Wait." Then the single comes out. Everyone's like, "What about the fan track?"
Yep.
Like it's always that song that is unexpected that always becomes one of the biggest songs. I feel like with bands, and I really believe that with this song. Just seeing the numbers. Purely off of streaming and the digital content has just been unreal. And that was impacting before it even hit rock radio. Now it's there. And the worst part is you can't even tour to support it at the same time.
We're hoping, man. Hopefully sometime before the end of this year, we can make something happen. And you're absolutely right. Like when it comes to that's been this band and many bands, like, history, when it comes to the music, it's always the song. It's like, wow, we got to get one done. Panic in particular was one of those songs where it was like we actually went on a break from recording and writing our record because we did it in Los Angeles and we're all from the East Coast. So we all went on a break. Some of us went home. Some went back to Los Angeles and just, chilled for a bit. That's when that song started being written. It wasn't even in the original batch of songs. And, through it all, our biggest single from our first record and Crazy, our biggest single from our last record, were exactly the same thing. And when you say about fan gratification track or whatever, just putting out a street track, that's what Panic was. But at the same time, I kind of knew, I was kind of arguing with the label a little bit. It's like, we have to move on this song. I was like, I know, I could, for me, I feel it, you know what I mean? Like in the music with this band in this particular style, because I love this style of music. I'm not just performing it, I'm a fan of it, and I just know when I hear a song or feel a song, you get that feeling in life.
Chills,
that's it.
Yeah.
Right. So, we put Panic out and the fans did the rest.
Yeah, they came out in force on rock radio where people were featuring it, man. Just winning battles, rock-tagons, whatever anybody wants to call them now. Everyone's got their thing. But was this the first album with a writing process with Danny officially for full?
Full, yeah. Full. So he was kind of on it. It's funny because he's so much more opinionated now, and his voice is so much louder in the group of guys now. And the last record, he actually came out on this record process, and he's like, "Well, on the last album, I really didn't say much because I knew that you guys had your, you had your core." And I'm like, "Dude, that's not how we work. Just speak up." So he did a lot on this record, a lot.
That's great. You can't even call him a new member anymore. He is a member. He's been there. And he's been doing cool stuff. He was featured on the U track, which I thought was phenomenal, that process. But I do want to talk about the quarantine work that you guys did. Wake Me Up When 2020 Ends. I mean, the song was phenomenal. The music video went perfectly with it. And everyone just gravitated towards it with everything that was going on. You guys continued to put out stuff during this without even realizing the impact of when you guys were doing it and taking advantage of it. So I mean, was rewriting those lyrics when you're like, "Oh, people are going to love this shit. This shit's going to be funny." What did you say when you're putting that together?
It was all Danny, honestly.
Was it?
Yeah. We did a couple before that, and he called me and we were talking and he started singing. He's like, I made this joke. He's like, and I sung it in front of my girlfriend and her sister, and they were like, "That's hilarious," or something. And he started singing it, and it was, the parody, "Wake Me Up When 2020 Ends." And he started the first two lines of the song, and I'm like, Are you actively writing this as a parody song? And he's like, "No, man, it's just a little joke." I'm like, "Stop what you're doing right now and go write that." I was like, because it's freaking hilarious. And he called me two more times. He's like, "Hey," because I watched Tiger King. He didn't. So he's like, "Hey, what do you think about adding something to Tiger King in here?" I was like, "Probably a really good idea. You should probably put some Tiger." So I gave him the line about Carol Baskin's a bitch, because obviously that's what Joe was always saying. But it really, Danny just came out of nowhere with it. And again, came out of nowhere with something. And And I was just told the guys, I'm like, well, why don't we just do ridiculous things that, you know, either you see on the news or media right now, or just something that's a little, you know, off the wall for the video, and just record yourself doing it. Who cares? And then just send it to me and we'll chop it together. So, and that's what we did. It was like probably 2 to 3 days that whole thing came to life.
Jesus. And then I mean, when I remember when I played it on the morning show I'm on, I played it on the station, and people, music video just blew up because everybody was feeling that. Everybody was feeling it. And then you guys stepped it up even more, and you went to your fans, which, first off, you guys do a phenomenal job with interacting with fans. As much as you said, I'm trying to stay off Facebook. You guys are always one of those bands. And I feel like it's a lot of the younger generations, they interact with fans one-on-one. They listen to their opinions, even though a lot of the times you're like, just shut up, you internet troll, I'm over you. Yeah. But like, I had a great conversation with Chris Motionless, who's really into his fans and goes to ask their perspective on a new single or what kind of song. And then you guys opened it up with covers, and you started knocking out the Avenged Sevenfold, Bullet for My Valentine. And I mean, the Linkin Park songs you've always done, but was that cool taking the time during quarantine to do those kind of covers as well?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, especially for me, because on a few of them, I didn't have really any vocal parts to do. Like, Bullet for My Valentine, I did like, you know, some screaming, a little bit of backup vocals, but it was mainly, I picked the guitar up again. And it was, you know, I haven't done that in years, man. And it was like, oh, this is cool, man. I remember playing guitar, and it's been fun learning songs that I've never learned. It's been fun. I learned how to edit videos now, something that I've never done before. So, you know, it's just like, it's kind of like back to school, man, but having fun with it.
Now, you are always talking about hip hop roots and that you love. Now, you've done all these metal covers. Do you ever push the boys and say, let's do a Wu-Tang cover, or let's go old school hip hop? Have you ever thought about letting you and telling the band to get behind you and let you do that?
There's one in the works, my man.
Oh, come on. What song is it?
I can't tell you. Surprise.
What's the point of doing these shows if I'm not going to break the internet? All right.
Because then people are really going to be anticipating it, and then we got to do it much faster.
Okay, so we know that there is a hip hop cover on the way.
Yeah, we've been, like you said, we've been giving the fans, like, we've been letting them pick. We even did things where it was like, you know, react to vote, and that's how Bullet for My Valentine came along. But we're gonna do one for us, and that's, you know, it's an old school hip hop song. I'm working on getting a feature on it. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to get the feature I'm looking to get, but if I can, it'll be dope. Get everybody excited, but it is an old school hip hop song from the mid to late 90s.
Yes, that's the perfect hip hop. Like I say, we're doing this for us. Don't lie. You're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for me. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Matt with From Ashes to New joining us live in Rock On Studio. Remember, you can pre-order the new album Panic out August 28th. You can go to FromAshesToNew.com official to do that. And like I said, they have all the Panic merch that was released and also the masks as well. I was wondering how many bands are bulked up on merch thinking, all right, we're going to be out on the road for all this time, so let's order all this merch. And then now we have all this tour merch. And what do we do with it? Like, is that a surplus for a lot of bands right now?
Maybe. I don't know. We're not one of them. We were fortunate enough. We were on tour with Skillet, and we were fortunate enough that we made it almost to the end. There was 2 dates that got cut out, but, you know, we were already low on merch towards the end, and it was like we almost made a reorder, actually. So it's actually really good that we didn't, because we may, you know, be in that situation where we're sitting on a bulk load of merch. But, you know, I would assume some bands were probably gearing up to go out. You know, I mean, that was March, so I'd assume some bands were probably gearing up to go out April, start wrapping into the festival season, do all that stuff. So yeah, man, I would imagine you're right. Fortunately for us, we actually were at the opposite end of it. We had no merch.
That's good. So you've toured all over with many different bands, like just getting off tour with Skillet. I mean, you've been out with Hell Yeah multiple times. You've been out with Bad Wolves. You've pretty much ran the gamut when it comes to artists. But when you go out with Skillet, it's a different type of feel, isn't it? With those concerts, a different vibe, but sold out shows like crazy. Could you really see a difference between what bands you're going out on tour with and what kind of demographic you get when you're out there?
You know, for us, we've been really fortunate that, you know, fan bases from all walks of this genre, or, you know, right on the outside of this genre, have accepted us. So, you know, the fans, they're accepting everywhere we go. I think the difference with the whole Skillet thing is we got to kind of tone back the way that, you know, we talk a little bit on stage, or some of the lyrics that are in our songs. And, I mean, it's a family-friendly event, really. So I think that's the biggest difference is that, you've got 2-year-old kids the whole way up to, people in their 80s, man. I mean, it's just it's the whole spectrum of people. So it is really cool. It was really cool to be on that tour, sold out rooms, and to see so many families like out there enjoying it all together. That was really, really, really cool.
From Rodney, just wanted to know top band that you want to tour with, if you could, with anybody. Fans always want to know that, right? They always want to know, what band do you want to be on tour with?
Oh man, that's difficult. I'm gonna go with Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
All right. Well, the boys are writing a new record and coming out again next year, so you never know what happens. But you're getting headlining status now.
That doesn't mean that we can't open for
yeah. Avenged Sevenfold said the same thing to Metallica. Metallica's
exactly.
like, you want to open for us? Like, oh yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, we'll do a stadium tour for sure.
As the opener, just a little opener.
Yeah, no big deal.
So you're a huge football fan. You're one of the Philadelphia Eagles men. So Philly. If you are not a Philly fan, you do not go to that stadium, correct?
No, not correct at all. That's such a myth. There's a few times that the Philly fans can get rowdy with the other fans. One is if it's like the fourth quarter, things are getting dicey and everyone's incredibly drunk.
Philly.
But I mean, that's going to happen anywhere, really. That's not just Philly, because I went to Pittsburgh.
That's rough too.
Right. I went to Pittsburgh as an Eagles fan for a preseason game. Okay. Didn't even matter. And I was wearing a Westbrook jersey and I got heckled beyond belief. Like it was terrible.
A preseason game where the starters aren't even there.
Nobody cared.
They were practicing the booze for the real season.
Yeah,
they were getting themselves ready.
Yeah. Preseason, not even the same conference, and I got heckled. So
well, I'm a Jets fan. Okay. I'm a Jets fan.
Well,
I'm a Jets fan.
So sorry to hear that.
Yes, thank you. So I can say whatever I want.
You have at least a few more years of Sam Darnold.
Oh, Jesus. So what do you think about if football does come back with no fans?
That's going to be weird. I mean, the fans create, if you look at like Seattle and even Philadelphia, I try to go to a game every year if I'm home, and you look at what the fans bring, I'm a performer. I get it. So it's like the fans are the energy. Without the fans there, like booing you or cheering you on, or, we're fortunate enough not to get the boos like the football teams are, but they bring it. And without it, I can imagine that's a little harder to play. I think that the only thing that's going to be wild is hearing like how hard they actually hit each other. Like you're going to, if there's no fans, you're going to be able to hear, 300-pound dudes smashing each other, man. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I think they talked about pumping in cheers into the broadcast booth so it sounds like there's people there. Put the little stuffed animals. Did you see the one? I think it was South Korea. They filled the stands with sex dolls. They didn't realize they were all sex dolls, and then they got in so much trouble. They thought they were mannequins. There was a bunch of sex dolls in the stands.
Yeah, that's not distracting at all.
No, that's so great. Weird knowledge for today. There you go.
I don't know how I would feel on stage playing in front of a bunch of sex dolls. That would be.
I don't know. I'd take it. If they're fans of my show, I'd approve. I'd be like, I'll take whatever I can get right now, man. I will take whatever I can get.
Never. It's crazy. This is stupid. Dad jokes in our camp all day long, man.
Hey, Father's Day is right around the corner. There's no problem. I love dad jokes for Father's Day. Rock On Studio Live with Matt from Ashes to New. New single Panic is out now. Make sure you request it to all your local rock radio stations, wherever you are watching or listening from. Email them, message them, and more. New album titled Panic will be out on August 28th. You can pre-order that at FromAshesToNew.com. And while you're there, you support the band with the merch, including those Panic t-shirts. Get your mask because you're going to be needing them for a long time. Before we go, is there any secrets or any tease you can give me about the new record that might shock somebody? Maybe a song on the record that might throw fans off, or perhaps a song on the record that you are very passionate about when it comes to the lyrics and what it means to you before we go.
Yeah, a couple of things. So we have a feature from another artist that I don't think people would really see us, having feature on one of our songs. So I think that's coming out. That may actually come out before the album drops. So you might not have to wait too long to see that. And then I think that the record itself is a little bit different than what From Ashes to New has always or normally done, right? So like we're always kind of the people who talk about overcome adversity and do the right thing, and by any means we're still doing that on this record. We're saying do the right thing, but we're kind of talking about it from the other perspective, right? From the perspective of being in that position, or we've got some songs talking about just the crisis when it comes down to like Medicaid in America, or violence in America. Some things that that aren't politically charged, but they're definitely not something that we would. It's out of the norm of what From Ashes to New would do.
Looking forward to it, man. Really looking forward to it. Pre-order the album now. Panic, out August 28th. Once again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button for Rock On Studio Live. Check out past interviews, performances, and more. And we got another one coming up to tomorrow. Matt, anything you want to tell your fans before we end this episode today?
I love them. They know that, man. I tell them all the time. I hope they know that.
Is this what I don't even know how to do it.
I'm terrible at it too. Like I do it on stage. I do it on stage with a microphone.
I can do that.
So like I'll put like the mic here and I'll do like this, and people are like, "Okay, I know what he's doing." Yeah, that's the easiest thing to do right there. But yeah, man, I mean, they've keeping us alive. There's a lot of bands that are really hurting right now, and the fans have keeping us afloat. We're here, what is it? 2020, 7 years. 7 years ago, this band was founded, and there's not a lot of bands, especially from that era in that genre, that have been able to flourish and sustain a career the way we have. So I'm really appreciative to the fans for keeping it going and supporting what we do and supporting our families, because ultimately that's what it's doing. It's supporting our families and letting us live our dreams. So I'm super appreciative for that.
And it took 7 years, but you got to go back to an office and cubicles and smash that shit the way you always wanted to.
Greatest day of my life.
My name is Elwood. That's another episode of Rock On Studio Live. Catch us again tomorrow at 4 p.m. with Crowbot for a Q&A and a live performance. Thank you guys for checking it out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is Matt from Ashes to New. I am Elwood, and this is Rock On Studio Live. Thank you.